start recording in a few moments.
Sure.
All right. Hello, hello. My name is Ross Fertel, faithful reader on the forums. And I'm here with a special guest this week. Michael, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. My name is Michael Van Breemen. I'm known by the Ninja Scott on the Trek CC boards.
All right. And we're here today to discuss your recent performance at Trek Masters in Tennessee, I believe it was.
Correct?
All right. So, looking at your first edition deck, this is a combination of Deep Space Nine Cardassians and past Terrak Nor. Have you played this deck before? What drew you to it?
Not this specifically, no. This was more of a curiosity. I thought I'd give it a shot and see how it would go.
Because I took a look at it. It seems like rather than go with that, um, go with the built-in drawback of the limited car pool of past Terrak Nor, you just put in a mission two and played past Terrak Nor and Deep Space Nine Cardassians.
No,
Oh,
the outpost itself, it's there because in case something happens, or if I want to report something there. No, everything reports to the time location in the deck. Because they're all compatible they're all valid people for the time location. So it's basically I'm reporting a person that's either universal or has a staff star or says Charknor in their lore, and they're all going to that time location. Then I get a second one for Protect the Timeline. I get one free play with Protect the Timeline and one free play where We All Serve, which also gives me a card draw. And then I also get a card draw from the primary Turbolift for reporting someone using their affiliate, their classification. And then just kind of goes from there. But everyone reports to the time location.
cool. And with the staff icons, you went with the military freighter just so you didn't get staff screwed, I take it.
Partly that, also partly that the only ships viable for them in the past would be our universal ships, and these are the only universal ships for Cardassians that would play for free.
Okay. And then the title of the deck is You Can Solve Eventually.
Yep.
So this is, I mean, I hate to use the term lockout, but this is just get in there, get quick, and don't look back, pretty much.
Well, for me, it's more of as far as myself, I'm just playing slowly. I'm not in a rush. I'm just getting as many people out as I can, making sure I have enough cards in my hand, having multiple copies of End Transmission in my hand, that sort of thing. So I'm not in a rush to go out and solve before them. It's just a matter of I want to solve two missions. I want to capture someone with valuable prisoner to get 5 points every turn, and then eventually solve. But I'm not in a rush. I This is a deck you don't have to rush for. It's one you can take your time. You just have to make sure you get a good amount of people out. You see what's there, and then you can basically keep poking at what your two missions are going to be, and then once you can solve them, you solve them. But it's not something you have to go out immediately and like, oh, we're in a race. This is not that type of deck. This is a deck that is designed to just be steady and just okay. I'll report my two people. I'll draw. I might play a key with five show to draw three cards. I'm already drawing three cards a turn as it is right now. So as long as I'm keeping up and still have my end transmissions, I'm good to go.
Yeah, could you talk a little more about end transmission? That's not a card that you see in a lot of decks, and you've got quite a few of them in here.
Yes. So end transmission is from Q Continuum. It's been errated. But essentially it says place on table immediately ends your turn. So anything that would count down at the end of your turn does not count down. So that includes end transmission itself. So dilemmas such as enemies of the state, friendly fire, linguistic legerdemain, um, those are all, and trisonite poisoning. They're all dilemmas that prevent you from solving a mission or prevent you from getting points for the mission, whichever one it is. That the whole idea being that, oh, this is not going to be a 2 turn countdown, it's going to be a 4+ turn countdown. Yay. And there's nothing you can do about it except counter the end transmissions or your Borg.
Yeah, what was your plan for Borg?
I didn't have one.
Oh,
I'll fully admit it. No, I wasn't expecting Borg. So I planned accordingly, like what Borg wasn't going to be there. This doesn't work against Borg, which is why I lost my games against Borg.
okay. So what would you consider your MVP in the deck? And transmission or
Yeah, in transmission. The dilemmas themselves were working fine. I probably could change them around and do something else with them, but the deck doesn't work unless and transmission's there. So it has to be the MVP.
okay. So yeah, if you were going to play this deck in another event, was the only change you'd make is changing around the dilemmas a bit?
Yeah, I might change the dilemmas around. I might do this in a with a the dilemma side of things. That's kind of that's the principle would still be the same. I might just change what goes in front of it in order to make it last longer. Um, I might change the draw deck to be something else entirely. I honestly don't know. I haven't thought about it. So if I do, I might just do something different just to not appear as though I'm playing the same thing again. So I might pair it with something else.
Okay, cool. Anything else about your deck before sorry, anything else about 1E before we go on to 2E? Were there any power plays, any moments that stuck out with this deck?
Um, I was surprised that the um that it actually worked. I wasn't expecting any of the countdown dilemmas to actually prevent someone from solving for a long enough time before I could solve. The deck isn't that great of a solver. I mean, it can and it will, but I wasn't expecting it, so I was rather pleased in that regard. I just wish there was better options to deal with Borg to prevent them from doing stuff, but it's Borg. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, nothing but you can do but plan on the fly.
Yeah, or if you're playing against TNG Borg, that's one thing that you can go faster than them and you can deal with that accordingly, or and have dilemmas that actually work against them. For a simulator Borg, you have to make your deck around countering it. Otherwise, you're not going to win.
All right, so moving on to second edition. I'm sensing a bit of a theme here. Uh, it's put dilemmas under my missions, the new mix.
Yep.
So I take it there's an old mix of this deck.
Um, yeah. Um, I I a long time ago I decided I wanted to do I never want to encounter dilemmas. So I've made decks that do that. There are ones that based off of uh, combat with the Sword of Kalos. I've done ones with Dominion with Dominion will prevail. I've combined those and added Dabo for a triple headquarter idea, that sort of thing. I've always tried to I don't like countering dilemmas. I would rather not have to. So sometimes I come up with things to do that, and this is one of them.
Yeah, because I looked at Nathan Miracle's tournament report. He got all of one dilemma out on you.
Yeah, to be fair, I attempted with 6 and he did play a dilemma. It didn't work, but yeah, he did.
Yeah. And with your other games, were I take it this deck work, you were able to just get your dilemmas under, then get started?
Well, the idea is I take one of their people and then I attack them with the omnipotent armament. That's for 3 dilemmas. The Jachuk interrupts, they add another three. So I'm already adding six dilemmas underneath the mission. Um, that you can solve pretty much any mission with six dilemmas under if you have the right people. So then it's just a matter of doing another fight and add another three more dilemmas. Um, you might fly your ship over to with fields and do field studies for the others, or fight again. Just depends on the situation. Um, so, but yeah, the whole idea is I don't want to encounter dilemmas because as you can probably see from the deck list, the deck is missing a lot of skills. So they aren't really designed to encounter dilemmas at all.
Oh, biology, exobiology, and well, intelligence. Yeah, yeah, a skill tracker will have fun with this. And I noticed that Camus is your only Klingon affiliation leadership,
Yep.
but you weren't dependent on getting him out, were you? Or your opponent not doing anything with him?
You generally speaking, unless you're attempting missions, my opponents don't generally interfere with you in 2E. It's not as combat happy as it is in 1E because in 1E you don't need a card to start a fight. You do in 2E. So I wasn't too terribly worried about Comuses. I mean, if it happens, it happens, but
Yeah,
usually it doesn't, especially if I don't take him from his headquarters, from his homeworld. So it's just a matter of just, if something happens, it happens, but it's not expected to happen.
yeah. And I remember several years ago, I don't remember who it was. I think it was Ben Levick. I'm not sure, but he had a strategy against the battle deck. Just go out, attempt the mission, then fly back if at all possible, or
Sure.
go out, put them on the mission, then fly back and hope that they either solve it or none of them are left.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to attack a ship, that's definitely one way of doing it. There's if you're worried about that, you're doing the ship well way. There's actually ways to force you to have that ship there. But yeah, that is one thing. This doesn't worry about ships. I just want a person. I just want to
Yeah,
beat up someone.
yeah, and let's face it, unless you get horribly screwed with your dilemmas, you'll at least get one person stopped at some point.
Yeah, but I don't want to go over to you to get them. I use dilemmas, specifically the Hippocratic Oath, to pull that person over to me. So then just I just have everyone usually at the Baku planet, and we have a fight there, and then we'll have another fight. Usually two fights, sometimes three, but usually two.
Well, I imagine it helps that a lot of the Baku personnel just play right to the Baku planet to have that happen.
Yes. I don't need everyone over there. Usually three people can do it themselves, but I usually have like those three and Camus, or I'll have Artem and Sojef, and then Camus. They do the fight because Anij I use to stop people to draw cards.
Yeah. So then, anything else about your deck before we move on to the games themselves?
Um, the deck did what it was supposed to do. As long as I could get someone, that's why I lost one game is because I couldn't get a person over, and then they decked themselves out because this deck will always deck itself out. It's almost impossible for me not to. So
Yeah,
he
36
was ahead
cards.
with
You've got Kimtar. Yeah.
yeah. It's really quick. It goes through a lot. Almost every one in the deck costs like one or less, except for very few people. So yeah, it's always going. It's just going to happen.
Yeah. Um, and was that kind of the only stumbling block you ran into in the games?
Yeah, that was literally it. Eric played Ascertain on when I gave him Hippocratic Oath and did not have anyone with two programming at the time. So He made it so it's either send a medical person over there or send a exobiology. He removed the exobiology requirement to make it two programming, and none of them two programming. So we solved the mission, and then next time he went over and decked himself by interlinking the rest of his deck when he went to the planet.
Okay. So, it kind of sounds like this deck is in a really good place. Are there any modifications you'd make for it in a future event?
Um, I might swap in some like arena to put it to give that as another option to possibly get people over. But the deck did what it was supposed to. It was just a moment. I might change the missions and um, have interrupt prevention in order to prevent that from happening again. I Because Molly didn't work because there was a cost for using aspartame, but I honestly didn't expect that happening. So the deck did what it was supposed to do. It was just I can't plan for everything, just 95% of it, but not all 100%.
And that's the fun of the playing the game.
Yep.
All right. So, I do have a deck loaded. I have the deck loaded up in Lackey. I've got a little opening hand here. Um, what do you think you'd play the first turn to get this deck started?
Um, Play Delivery Boy for free. Play Parting Thought, put it on a mission of theirs.
Okay.
Um, then I would just play the people, which will, so you're currently at two still, and you've already gotten through most of your deck, at least your opening hand. So after that, I would not play, I don't play the equipment until I'm ready to fight, unless I have to. So Riker for two, Mott, Tolian,
And then,
draw for three.
oh,
Um, so you drew for three, play Anish for four.
sorry, she goes here. Okay.
You drew for five, drew for six, play Rachel, draw for seven. Cool.
Okay. And then I imagine next turn we'll get
Yep, play
Alexander out
Kimtar.
and okay.
Download the other two copies of the event.
All right.
Click on deck.
Yeah, sorry. And then we're going for more parting thoughts, right?
Yep. That's why I choose this one because one, it costs three, and two, it's not unique. All right, so that's four. Draw for five. Draw for six. We'll play Camus for seven.
Cool. Yeah, so yeah, and then this deck is pretty much ready to go.
Yeah, it still needs a ship,
Yes, yes, strips are helpful.
but you have Picard who can download it. You also have two copies of the ship as well as Jameson who can download a ship for you as well. So it's not the worst thing in the world. Um, but yeah, the idea being that you get enough people out, you can staff the ship once you play. If you play Picard, you can staff the Enterprise. It doesn't need the Magic Commander yet. That's why there's three Magic Commanders in the deck because you need it for the points. But yeah, essentially you just fly, um, and you're usually going to be faster than them in terms of by the time you get a ship out, they might be ready to attempt. It just kind of depends on your shuffle. But generally speaking, I was in a position to fight by the time they did their first mission attempt. And you don't see a battle coming yet until the first attack. It's like, oh, that's what you just did. That's the thing that has happened. And then you basically use a need to draw from people who are not in the fight to get more cards, and then essentially you get the two fights, you get the dilemmas under, and you're golden basically.
Cool. Any other final thoughts before we wrap up?
Um, this is not a deck you should play in anything other than a high level event because this is not fun to play against. No one liked it. I will fully admit, no one liked this at all. Um, so I would not recommend playing this like in a local event just for giggles. It is not fun. I would only play it for a high level event like this.
Cool. All right. So yeah, thank you very much for taking the time to talk about your decks. For those watching, the decks are listed in the deck in the show notes below. Thank you very much for listening. And yeah, thank you very much. We'll talk to you later.